Ugh. It is snowing in Toronto in March. Days like this, I don't want to go to the gym, but I am committed. So we're going to go. But first things first, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in. Whoops, close that window too hard. This video is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but that is okay. Because if I get you to start asking the questions, the right questions, if I start getting you to challenge the beliefs you might have had that clearly haven't been providing you results, then I've done my job, right? My job is not to make you like me. I'm not in the business of being liked. I'm in the business of providing transformation. And to do that, just by nature, I'm gonna end up ruffling some feathers. It's not my intention, but that's just what happens. This video is going to be titled something to the effect of why smart people find themselves stuck, or why smart people never make any progress. Something of that sort. Now, there's a bunch of different things I want to say in this video, but I'm going to start with the fact that most people who are smart, who know they're smart, have known that they are smart for a very long time. And by the way, a lot of this describes me and my past self. So don't think I'm trying to get at you. I'm only ever speaking from personal experience because that's the only thing I can speak to, okay? The things I have personally overcome. Most people who are smart have been celebrated for being smart for a very long time, for learning things quickly, so on and so forth. And that's usually what they build their self-esteem around. It's the fact that they're smart. And so they pride themselves in being smart, which is good to a certain extent. They pride themselves in being right a lot. And that's what they build their self-esteem on. And that's what shapes their ego, right? And then it becomes this really weird thing because in order to be successful, you have to actually put yourself in a position where you're learning. You have to no longer identify with being smart as the lead thing. You have to identify with being a student, with being a learner, with being someone who's about progress. To be successful and to see momentum in your life quickly, you got to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. Right? You have to be a beginner again. You have to go into uncomfortable spaces. You have to learn new things. And that's very tough for people whose self-esteem is built on being smart, because when they're around successful people, or when they're around people who are smarter than them, people who are going to call them out, I mean, they buckle. And so what happens is we often surround ourselves with people who fuel our ego, who make us feel smart, right? And I was actually having a conversation about a part of this with a client today, a client that I really love and appreciate. And we were talking about the same thing. But again, speaking from my own past, a reason why it took me so long, I'm talking 25 plus years, to see any sort of, progress in my life or success or money is because I was just surrounding myself with people who I felt I was smarter than. And I only operated in silos or in activities or things that made me feel smart, right? And that's why you don't make any progress, But anyway, I'm gonna put my coat on and head to the gym. So let's continue this conversation in my favorite place to do videos, which is the car. So another reason why smart people tend to get stuck a lot is because they are overly reliant on their logical mind. They spend a lot of time in their head, and for the most part, this is good. This is what has brought them success. Their ability to think through things, to critically think, to make decisions, tough decisions, and that's all fun and games, but they're overly reliant on their logical mind. And this is understandable because for all of their life, it's what's brought them success. Their critical thinking skills, their ability to make decisions, their ability to rationalize things, all of that is great, and it's all fun and games until you actually got to get stuff done. And then what happens is, especially when it comes to procrastination, which has been a theme of a lot of my conversations with a lot of people, clients, people on the Instagram comments, when it comes to procrastination is not an equation you can solve for. right? So people, what happens is smart folks spend so much time thinking about why they're a procrastinator and trying to figure out why they're a procrastinator, when the only real answer to solving procrastination is to just do the thing, right? Just do the thing. And most people are like, well, I can't get myself to do that thing. And then if that's what you want to sell yourself, like if that's the story you want to tell yourself, because it's not true, but if that's the narrative you want to entertain, then here's what you need to understand. And this is what I wrote in an Instagram comment. You can see I'm reading it right here. The short and honest answer is, if you want to keep labeling yourself a procrastinator, or if you want to keep entertaining the idea that you have this procrastination like disease, then you need to accept that your life is set and it won't look much different than what it is now in terms of themes. That realization will either set the fire off inside of you to make change, or it won't. And the brutal truth is that there will be no one else to blame. It's also why 99% of people will never amount to much, not because of environment or anything else, but because of a lack of accountability. The ultimate decision one has to make is if this will be you or not. What is a real waste of time, though, is telling yourself that you're a procrastinator. It does no good. It doesn't solve the problem. And it's something that one can decide to stop doing at any time. When we stop doing this, we actually give ourselves an opportunity to start declaring who we want to be. And I'm going to stop there and say our words are not observations. Our words are declarations. You got to understand that to the core. You need to understand how powerful your words are. This is the part that irritates me, is people skip over the things I say. And that is okay, because, that doesn't irritate me, but it's like how loose people are with their words irritates me. Because I'll tell someone, listen, like your words are your declarations. When you say things, you are declaring. You're not observing, you're declaring what you see. You're declaring who you are. When if I say I'm a procrastinator, that's not an observation, that's a declaration. Therefore, you will continue to look for ways subconsciously to reaffirm that. So stop saying it. That's the first step, right? Continuing on, success, for better or worse, is not based on sympathy. In other words, no one will care or does care whether you see your dreams come true or not. If you care to take action, you will. If you don't care to take action, you won't. It affects nobody else's life. It's a pretty pointless conversation, this procrastination thing. As in the time that we're having this conversation about procrastination, it could be spent taking actual action. So it's also like, why are we wasting time talking about this, right? And I will also say that most people in 2024 have addictions that have killed their willpower and reinforced their procrastination. So dopamine, drugs, pornography, and that's another conversation. So and the thing with intellectual people is, especially if they did well in school and stuff, they're used to not needing as much time to finish things or to complete tasks or to learn things as other people. So that reinforces a procrastination habit. But like at the end of the day, it's a decision you have to make, right? It's a decision you have to make. And the hypnotherapy piece can make it easier, but it doesn't negate the fact that you still have to make a decision. And if that's not a decision you're willing to make, then stop wasting your time and stop wasting everybody else's time. And the irritating part about procrastinators is they'll find a way, they'll get nothing done. They'll get nothing done in their life. And then when it's game time, when it's time to show for it, when it's time to, whatever it is, when they age out of the ability to execute on their dreams, they'll look around and blame everybody else for not having what they want. And I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to care. How much you cry, how much you mope, how much you scream, how much you complain, nobody's going to care. Nobody cares if in the 80 or 90 years you have on this life that you see your dreams or not. Nobody cares. It's quiet out here. It's a lonely road. This high performance success road. It's a quiet and lonely road. And you have to decide. And decisions are not hard to make. You just decide. Right? So anyway, you can tell I'm passionate about that because I know how fast life changes when you just make the decision to just be all you can be, to tackling the problem, to solving the puzzle every day. I know how fast your life changes. My life made a complete 180. You know? And like, the stuff you dream about is worth having. You can have it. The stuff you dream about is worth having. The nice car, the relationship, all that stuff is worth having. Like, life gets way better when you just start taking steps in the right direction. But like, sometimes it's like, give me cut it out. Right? Smart people are smart in theory and on paper, and they're textbook smart, but when it comes to life, a lot of times it's like, what are you thinking about right now? What conversations are you having? Are you actually getting stuff done? I just had a comment. I paused because I just had a comment on my Instagram. So I made a post about procrastination, and the comment goes, someone commented, "Not me researching and thinking there's something wrong with me and that it must be my ADHD, and now convince myself that I'm autistic when I should have just been doing a bunch of things to help myself regulate my nervous system." You guys see what I'm getting at? Like, in real time, this stuff comes up. It's like intellectual people are spending all the time trying to diagnose themselves. Who cares? Who cares? You're trying to solve every other problem. You're trying to do everything but the actual thing. And it's like, okay, if that's the game you want to play, cool, but just stay over there, right? Because this path is for people who actually want it. People need to stop lying to themselves. Like, stop lying to yourself and go sit over there, right? Get out of other people's way. Stop wasting. You can waste your own time, but don't waste other people's time, right? Like, procrastination is not even a conversation we should be having. You either want it or you don't, period. End of story, end of conversation. That's it. I think I'm not gonna touch on this again. Straight up. I'm not gonna touch on this procrastination thing again. You either want it or you don't, period. There's no blue pill or red pill or magic wand. That's it. That's it. Right? Like, I'm not going to post any more content on procrastination because if this resonates, if you label yourself as an intellectual, as a smart person, then you're smart enough to know better. That's it. This is not a sympathy play. When it comes to high performance, when it comes to success in life and business, at a certain point, tough love needs to come into the play, because tough love works. Not hurtful love, but tough love. It works. And it's tough love when I say, listen, like, you either want it or you don't, but stop wasting people's time like that. Like, the hypnotherapy is meant to bring you back into yourself, into the best version of yourself, and remove all the baggage and the beliefs you have. But if you don't want that to work, it's very clear when people don't want things to work, when they want to stay in their shell. They try and find every excuse to say it's the hypnotherapy that didn't work, or it's the it's this guy that didn't work or that guy that didn't work. No, come on, man. You're what? Right? Like, let's stop this topic, because there are people who actually want it. There are people who are actually trying to execute on their dreams, right? There are people who actually show up for themselves. These are the people who deserve to be invested in. These are the people who deserve the mentorships, the coaches, the hypnotherapy. It's because they're actually helping themselves, right? And I'm not in the game of trying to convince people like this. And like procrastination and the ADHD thing are on the same wavelength. In 2024, everybody wants to say that they have ADHD. You don't. You don't. And I'm sure some people do. Yes, obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But it's like, I'd argue that 95% of people who say they have ADHD don't have ADHD. There was let me see if I can find it. I probably saved it on TikTok and I deleted that app. But that billionaire who worked for Meta, you guys know who I'm talking about. Was it Meta? I can't find it, but I'll find it later. But anyway, the Indian billionaire, it's on the tip of my tongue. His son was diagnosed by a doctor with ADHD, and then was recommended to take pills. And the parents, the billionaire, said, "No, we're not giving my son pills." And he just took the kid's phone away and the iPad away. And the kid made a dramatic increase in his level of focus and his grades in school. Surprise, surprise. Like, come on. Like, guys, as much as I like, helping people and stuff like that, like, there's so much bullshit in the way. There's so much bullshit in the way. And if I had, like, and this is not about me, but like, you gotta stop bullshitting yourself. That's one big lesson I had to learn before people were willing to invest in me, is I had to stop bullshitting myself. A lot of these issues we think we have don't exist. People just want to feel special by telling themselves they have issues. It's like this victim thing. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. But anyway, that's that. All right, so I could have gone a few different ways with this video. I actually kind of have, but I'm just going to combine this all into one, because I know that my past self, which is who I make these videos for, could really use all of these messages, right? No matter how they are delivered or separated. But let's talk about this just to end this off. A lot of people want to make quantum leaps in their lives, rightfully so, right? We want to, instead of going up the mountain climb, we want to go around it, which is the way you should, right? And we can talk about how to do that in a second, but the first question is, what are you doing to deserve a quantum leap in your life, right? Because a lot of people want a quantum leap in their life, but they're not changing anything about what they do on a day-to-day basis. They're not willing to sacrifice anything. They're not willing to sacrifice discomfort, right? And you got to meet the universe, God, life, halfway. You got to meet your future self halfway. And most people just aren't making quantum leaps in their lives because they're not doing anything to deserve a quantum leap in their lives. And I always say this to my one-on-one clients in hypnotherapy. I'm like, listen, you don't have to build yourself up to anything more. You have to start doing less things. Most people are filling their days up with garbage, just garbage. And it usually has to do with spending a lot of time, way too much time on social media and on our phones. And start doing less, but more of the things that matter. And how do you do that? How do you identify what matters? Well, ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be on your last days on this earth? What do you want to be known for as? Whether it's a person of love, of generosity, of focus, of discipline, of consistency, whatever it is, That is what you need to embody on a day-to-day basis. And that is how you will make your quantum leap. You make your quantum leap by being very focused on a few set of tasks. Your morning routine should be very simple. Your day-to-day to-dos should be very simple. You should be focused on doing very, very impactful work, having very impactful relationships, friendships, very impactful conversations. You need to maximize every interaction, maximize every day, every hour, every minute. And I know as human beings, we need to have we need to relax, right? We need to be human, and that's okay. You won't be on go mode every single second of the day. But understand this: if you win enough minutes, you win the hour. If you win enough hours, you win the day. If you win enough days, you win the week. If you win enough weeks, you win the month. If you win enough months, you win the year. And if you win enough years, you win life. Right? One of my favorite books is from a mentor of mine. Her name is Alicia Mathlin. She wrote a book called The Future We Make. That book changed my life. And the entire premise is, well, one of the main ideas is that our present moment right now is our future in the making. Right? If you want to no longer be undisciplined, or if you no longer want to be a procrastinator, if you no longer want to be self-loathing or self-destructive or self-sabotaging, well, that starts in the present moment. And hypnotherapy can help you accelerate that, can help you make those choices easier, but it still depends on you making a choice. And that's something that nobody else, not even God, can do for you because of the element of free will. And so you have to decide how you use free will, because no other animal or species in our known universe has it. That's why you are so incredibly powerful. And most people are giving up their free will and giving up their most precious resource, time, to these companies, to these social media platforms, right? If you're not in the Master Manifestors Collective, I definitely recommend you join. I put out manifestation codes and manifestation secrets every single day, ones that help me make a ton of money, a ton of quick transformation, make my quantum leap and leaps over and over and over again. I post in there every single day. It's for the dedicated and the people who are serious about making transformation, and they are, right? And I talked about our relationship with time in there, so you should go check it out. But it's life-changing stuff. But I say all that to say, you are one decision away from a dramatically different life, right? You're one decision away from a dramatically different life. And the thing is, it's a decision. It's nothing more than that. Don't make it this big thing, you know? But you have to, a lot of life is about sacrifices, and sacrifices isn't always a bad thing. Sacrifices is commitment to saying you want to be more and actually committing to that, right? Committing to God, committing to your future self, committing to love, committing to fruitful relationships, committing to having and giving yourself the best. If you want to give yourself the best in terms of physical and tangible manifestations like money and a dream partner, you have to gift yourself focus, gift yourself compliments, gift yourself self-esteem, gift yourself great friends and mentors, gift yourself self-improvement, gift yourself an investment in yourself, gift yourself a coach, gift yourself a great community, gift yourself the chance at being successful. And the sad truth is, most people nowadays aren't even giving themselves a fighting chance at being successful. Not because of anything else, but a lack of self-accountability. And so at the end of the day, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it going to be? It's nobody else's fault but your own. It's not your coach. It's not your therapist. It's not your teacher. It's not your mother or your dad. Especially if you're over 18, you now have the opportunity to reparent yourself. And I'm always reparenting myself. One thing I will say is, when it comes to quantum leaps and success, it's not a destination. I know you heard this before, but let me say it in my way. It's not a destination. It's a stream. It's a pathway that we walk, and we always continue to try and walk on this path. And yes, we fall over. Yes, we stumble. Yes, we regress. But the mere act of recommitting is us being in the path of success. The falling over and then getting up, that is all that's all within the stream of success. But when you sign off on saying, I don't want to improve myself, or sign off and saying, I commit to being a procrastinator, or I commit to saying that there's something wrong with me, or I commit to my diagnosis, well then, yeah, you're no longer walking this path. And so you got to decide who you want to be, because again, that's the only real factor in this whole equation of the theme of procrastination, of the theme of getting or feeling stuck, or the theme of a quantum leap. A quantum leap will happen real quick for you once you truly commit. And most people just aren't committed. They aren't committed. My clients who see great success for themselves, it's not always immediate. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes they reach out to me months later, right? And they're like, thank you, right? Because a lot of our relationship with time is patience, is having respect for our journeys, for our manifestations unfolding. You have to have respect for your vision. Let your vision unfold the way it is, because what you're manifesting is of such magnitude that it needs to unfold in its own divine and righteous way. You gotta have respect for that, right? You gotta have respect for the work that you've done, the work that you're doing, and how the universe is organizing things to put it in place so that you see it in your physical reality, with your physical senses. But so long as it's in the vision, and so long as you are injecting gratitude into your present moment, injecting focus, injecting commitment into your present moment, trust and believe that vision is unfolding right now. It's unfolding right now. It's not on its way. It's not in the future. It's unfolding right now. And all these little events, these little sequences of events, these little life happenings, whether that's an argument or whether that's a fallout with a friend or whatever that is, it is the vision unfolding. And that means sometimes there is some shedding. Making a quantum leap means you have to be lighter. You cannot make a quantum leap with all the baggage that has held you back, the baggage that you are stacking on yourself. The biggest baggage is people telling themselves that there's something wrong with them. The biggest baggage is people telling themselves that they have ADHD, or telling themselves a story that they're a procrastinator. It's a false narrative. It doesn't exist. And there's an orchestrator in this whole thing being like, what is he doing? What is she doing? What are they telling themselves right now? Right? If only they could see that there's literally nothing wrong with them, and just stop the act, stop the bullshit, and just start doing things, you know? But anyway, so I'm going to leave the video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. My only ask is you hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, so that this video can get pushed out to someone who really needs it. Because this is the stuff that changed my life. And from what I see in the comments, guys, which I read them all, sounds like you guys are getting some value out of this. So I'm going to keep putting out a video every single day. But I genuinely appreciate you guys. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.